This is an ABC News special report.
I'm with Johnson in New York, and we're coming back on the air for a historic moment at the U.S. Supreme Court. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson is about to be sworn in, becoming the first black woman to ever serve as a U.S. Supreme Court justice, something that's never happened before in the court's 233-year history. President Biden fulfilling a campaign promise to place a black woman justice on the bench. And after 27 years, Justice Breyer, the most senior member of the court's liberal wing, officially stepped down today at noon. Chief Justice John Roberts will administer the constitutional oath to Judge Jackson. There are two oaths here because this will be a remarkable moment as well. Justice Stephen Breyer will deliver the judicial oath to his former law clerk, now taking his place on the bench. Now, this will not shift the makeup of the court. Conservative justices will still hold a 6-3 majority, but this will mark the first time 4 women have served on the Supreme Court all at once. Judge Jackson, who is 51 years old, served on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. She will be the only justice who also once served as a public defender. She was confirmed with bipartisan support in the Senate back in April. Again, we are awaiting this moment, but we did get a statement today from the NAACP saying we are excited to finally call her Justice Jackson. Of course, she'll go from Judge Jackson to Justice Jackson as soon as she's sworn in. It has a nice ring to it. Not only do we finally have a black woman on the bench, but a highly qualified professional who represent black women and all Americans as well. Again, we're waiting for this moment to take place. And in the meantime, let's bring in our ABC News live anchor and World News Tonight Sunday anchor, Lindsay Davis. Lindsay, I know that you've been following Judge Jackson through her nomination and confirmation, and today this moment in history.
Sure. I mean, we are looking at someone who is really the embodiment of progress. For centuries in this country, the justices simply haven't looked like and reflected the general population in this country. And something that she has talked about again and again is how just in one generation in her family, they went from segregation to the Supreme Court. She has mentioned several times that she has come this far by faith. She mentioned after her confirmation that she is the hope and the dream of the slave, quoting Maya Angelou there. And so there is so much excitement about the weight of this moment, the monumental moment, the magnitude of it all that we're going to all watch in just a few moments as she goes from judge, as you said, to Justice Jackson. And
again, we're looking right now. This is we're awaiting Chief Justice John Roberts to enter with Justice Stephen Breyer and Judge Jackson, who will soon be known as Justice Jackson. If we do have a moment, maybe we can bring in Terry Moran, our senior national correspondent, who's also been covering the court. And Terry, we did make that mention that even though there will be a dynamic shift here on the court when it comes to representation and diversity, you know what, Terry, I'll come back to you in just a moment. Let's go ahead and listen.
Welcome to the Supreme Court. We're here today to administer the oaths of office to Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to become an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. But before we do so, I would like to recognize Dr. Patrick Jackson, who is here, her husband, and her daughters Talia and Layla. The administration of the oath is required both by the Constitution and by the Judiciary Act, and so we'll be delivering 2 oaths. I'll deliver the constitutional oath, and Justice Breyer will administer the statutory oath. There will be a formal investiture in the fall, but the oaths will allow Judge Jackson to undertake her duties, and she's been anxious to get to them without any further delay. Are you prepared to take the oath?
I am.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Ketanji Brown Jackson, do solemnly swear.
I, Ketanji Brown Jackson, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter.
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much, and now I'll turn things over to Justice Breyer.
Good. The judicial oath, will you raise your right hand, please? Thank you. I, Ketanji Brown Jackson,
I, Ketanji Brown Jackson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will administer justice
that I will administer justice
without respect to persons
without respect to persons
and do equal right
and do equal right
to the poor and to the rich,
to the poor and to the rich,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States,
as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States,
under the Constitution
and
laws of the United States.
and laws of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
And now, on behalf of all of the members of the court, I am pleased to welcome Justice Jackson to the court and to our common calling.
There you have it, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, now known as Justice Jackson. You were watching the swearing-in ceremony. She took 2 oaths of her position there. Chief Justice John Roberts administering the constitutional oath. And then let's bring in Lindsay Davis here to talk again, because that was quite a moment. Justice Breyer delivering the judicial oath to his former clerk, now his successor.
You know, what's so significant here is that every one of those justices, they bring their own unique perspective based on their worldview, based on their life experiences. And so what we're witnessing in this moment is someone who is going to add a very unique world experience based on very starkly different life experiences. And today I'm mindful of the story that she shared during her nomination hearing, where she talked about being that freshman student on Harvard's campus wondering, is this the right environment, kind of suffering from that imposter syndrome? Can I do this? And she said that anonymous black woman who remains a stranger today just whispered to her, persevere. And look at the fruit of that now that she has persevered, not just for her, but for young girls of all different colors today who are looking at what's possible and what they can do. And she talked about the magnitude of this moment with the Washington Post. And she said, you feel the weight of wanting to succeed, not just for your own independent status, but because so many people are watching and view this as a door opening for others. And what a door it is. I mean, if you look at the court just 50 years ago, 1972, all men, right? And now, as you mentioned earlier, you have 4 women serving at the same time, the 116th member of the court, for the first time, a black woman in the court's 233-year history.
And millions of Americans who never had this kind of representation before this historic moment. Lindsay, thank you. I do want to turn now to our senior national correspondent, Terry Moran, because we did note earlier, yes, the dynamics do shift on the court, but the ideological balance remains the same.
The ideological balance remains the same. There's an old saying that every new justice means a new court because of the personal dynamics. And watching that ceremony, it's so moving and so extraordinary and so overdue. It's 2022. Black American women have built this country from the earliest times in the face of so much opposition and struggle, and we all know them. We grow up learning the names of Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth and Marian Anderson and Barbara Jordan and so many. And here's Ketanji Brown Jackson now stepping forward in that line onto the Supreme Court of the United States, representing not just those, but the countless others who did help build our country. And she brings to this court with so much more than her identity. She also brings a brilliant legal mind, and she brings an experience to the court that it really needs. She was a public defender Imagine who has public defenders in this country. She stood by their side in American courtrooms and represented them. That is a perspective this court lacks. And also as a working mother, I remember during her confirmation hearings, her speaking directly to her daughters, saying, I know I did not always get the balance right, but I love you, and I tried to do my best, and I hope you can see that hard work and determination pays off. This is a remarkable moment in American history, long overdue, and it will not affect the ideological balance of the court, but this court is getting a justice that will affect its work profoundly.
And we were seeing photos of President Biden there again fulfilling a campaign promise. He said early in his campaign that he would nominate a black woman, and there you have that moment as she is now a member of the bench. And I want to bring now our ABC News legal analyst and contributor Kate Shaw, because Terry noted there these important elements of her background, the fact that she was a public defender. What else does she bring to the court?
Well, almost a decade of experience on the trial court, which she was a trial judge. She sentenced criminal defendants. She oversaw trials. That's a perspective that Sonia Sotomayor has, but that's it on this court. So that is a pretty unique experience. So she's worked as a public defender, but, you know, she talked in her confirmation hearings about also having family in law enforcement. She has had experiences that have touched a lot of aspects of American life that many on the court, both now and historically, have not had. And so I do think that she's going to change the dynamics pretty profoundly on a personal and, of course, also symbolic level. But, of course, it is true that the balance of the court remains sharply conservative. This is a very bold and pretty aggressive conservative supermajority that just in the last week has changed the law of carrying firearms, abortion, environmental regulation, religion, and the list goes on. So she's going to be in dissent, I think, in a lot of cases.
Yeah, let's go back to, thank you so much, Kate. Appreciate it. Let's bring in Lindsay again here for some final thoughts, because as Kate pointed out, that, you know, she comes in as a rookie justice, so to speak. And while that is exciting and there's a lot to take on, major challenges, she will be in the minority when it comes to the philosophy.
And she certainly joins the court in a period of turmoil, right? I mean, it's really kind of a fraught time, really, in our history when it comes to the Supreme Court, and many significant rulings ahead that are going to fall into her lap that, again, her unique experience is going to offer, if not her vote, that it may not change, but her voice, and that does mean so much. You know, we heard many times from Kamala Harris saying that she may be the first, but she won't be the last. And I think that it does bear repeating. I've said it before, that this is also for the generations of black women who would have, who could have, who should have been able to attain and achieve in a way that in this time, you know, obviously she's been confirmed, but this was the first time that a black woman was ever even nominated, ever even given the opportunity to sit at the table. And so this is something that many people are celebrating, at the same time feeling a little disappointed, like, why are we just now having the first? But certainly to be commended today that it's finally happened.
Absolutely. All right, Lindsay Davis, thank you so much. Before we go, we do want to check back in with Devin Dwyer, who obviously follows the Supreme Court for us as well. And Devin, you have a little bit more perspective on how this swearing-in ceremony played out today.
I do, Whit, and in fact, we're just hearing from Justice Jackson and Justice Breyer. They put out paper statements responding to the historic moment that we just witnessed. And Justice Breyer saying he is glad for Ketanji Brown Jackson. Her hard work, integrity, and intelligence have helped her earn her place on this court. That scene was surreal there to see him swearing in his former clerk. And just to underscore, Whit, how much transformation we've seen on this Supreme Court. In the last 5 years, there have been 4 new justices on the court. And for the last 3 of those years, they have been largely secluded from each other because of the COVID pandemic. And so as you heard Kate and Terry talk about there, the changes and challenges ahead for this court, it's a new day, certainly moving in a conservative direction. But this court has surprised us before, and we're likely to be surprised again starting this fall with Justice Jackson on the bench.
All right, Devin Dwyer, our thanks to you and the entire team here. Our coverage continues on ABC News Live and abcnews.com. You can also get breaking news alerts on the ABC News app. And the entire team will be right back here tonight for a full wrap-up on World News Tonight. For now, I'm Whit Johnson in New York. Have a great day.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.